Hey there, and I'm about to do another Criterion review. My second one for tonight. I actually been in the kind of the French thriller mode, and tonight I watched Eyes Without a Face, an incredible film. And I have to say, going on from my last video about Blu-ray DVD, I don't think this could have looked much better on Blu-ray than it did on this DVD format. It's actually an amazing transfer. It is an incredible film, and it creeped me out. It's 1959, black and white. Color films, I think, were around at this point, but I like the fact that this one was done in black and white. Actually, it starts out with an odd type of music, almost like a circus carnival type of music, and it's kind of disconcerting. The music plays against kind of like just a bleak background of like darkness and like twisted trees and that, and we kind of get it off-puts you for the start of the film, and I think it was done on purpose. And it works well for this film. Basically, we meet a spoilers here, guys. We meet a doctor that whose daughter has disappeared, and apparently she was in a car accident with him from before, and she disappeared from the hospital, and she hasn't been seen since. Now, at the beginning of the film, we see a woman dump a body of a female, and the face is pretty disfigured, gone basically, and into the sign.
The Seine.
Seine, yeah.
Seine.
And he has to go and see if that's his daughter. As he's going there, there's another guy that has to basically see if that's his daughter as well, because it could be either one of their girls, since both of their daughters are missing. So the surgeon goes in first, and he looks at the corpse and says, that's my daughter, no doubt about it. And he basically goes outside and sends the other guy home and says, you've still got hope. Well, we soon see him at the funeral for his daughter, and his daughter's ex-fiance is there at the funeral, and so suspiciously is the girl that we saw dump the body into the lake in the first place, and that's his housekeeper. Apparently, the daughter is actually alive, and she is at the house, and they've been performing transplants to try and fix the daughter's face. The daughter's face has been really horribly scarred and mangled, and he's been kidnapping girls and removing their faces and trying to transplant onto the daughter. And so far, all the transplants have been rejected, and they end up just basically having to toss the body. So we get to see the girl in a mask, actually, and the mask is creepy, and it's kind of like almost expressionless. Think of the Michael Myers mask, a female version of that. And a good reason that to actually mention that is because John Carpenter, when he was making the movie Halloween, actually had seen Eyes Without a Face, and that was one of his inspirations for the Michael Myers mask for Halloween. Now, this movie works incredibly well on so many different levels. We get the kind of like the anguish of the girl, with no face. We see the anguish of the doctor who's was once like a brilliant surgeon who's just become obsessed with trying to fix his daughter, and has great guilt over the fact that he was the one driving the car. But it's gotten to the point where he's been doing this for a while, and insanity has set in. This has become an obsession with the guy. He is going to fix his daughter's face no matter what the consequence is to anybody else. And we see that he has a room full of dogs where he's been transplanting like skin grafts and all that onto other dogs. And the ones that it doesn't work, we're told he uses something and puts them to sleep. And any time in a horror movie where you see a room full of captive dogs, you kind of know where the ending is going to go. But like I say, this is a great film. I'm trying to say, I don't want to tell everything about it. Don't want to give everything away. I don't want to go completely through it, but why not? Anyway, the creepy but I guess the housekeeper that can get girls to trust her. She listens to this other girl and kind of finds out information. The girl needs a place to stay, and kind of arranges a meet. The girl's waiting for tickets at a theater, and she comes along with 2 tickets and says her friend couldn't come and would she like to go with her to the theater, and she wouldn't have to pay for the tickets. So, you know, she's a student, young girl, and she accepts, and they kind of like a friendship is done, and she tells her about her that she needs a place. Of course, she already knows that because she's listening on the girl's conversation. Afterwards, she comes back another day and tells the girl, yes, I've got you a place to stay. You know, it's going to be great. It's going to be cheap. The girl is a little bit concerned when driving out there. It seems like it's a long way out, but she says that she's taken a long route to basically see the scenery, and it's actually only 20 minutes away, which is, it's bull. They get her there, and they use chloroform on her and bring her down to the room. And this is where it gets really interesting for a 1959 film. It is brutal. There is a operation scene that lasts quite a long time, and it was mentioned actually that members of the audience, some female members of the audience actually fainted during the operation scene. It's, you know, it's pretty tame by today's standards, but by back then it was pretty amazing, and it was pretty well done, and they definitely took their time on getting the face thing done. Anyway, the face is transferred over to the girl. Now, the other girl, Edith, she tries to escape once her face is taken off, and she ends up seeing what's happened to her and basically committing suicide. She throws herself out a window. So that's another body they got to get rid of. And they decide, well, it makes sense, instead of like dumping her in the river, since his daughter is already dead and they have a crypt out there, great place for new bodies. Now, the face seems to look great on her at first. Unfortunately, we see soon that the transplant is rejected, and they basically have to take off the skin, because it's basically just dead skin on her face. At this point, she's suicidal herself. The daughter is, and she just wants to die. She calls her fiance, who of course thinks she's dead, until he hears her voice, and he knows right away that it's her. Now, this is where it gets kind of comical. There's 2 police officers who get this girl for stealing a bar of soap, and they decide that she looks enough like the other girl that they're going to use that to try and entrap this doctor. So they have the girl dye her hair and be...
Not entrap. They want to make sure.
Oh, they're trapped. It's entrapment. No, they're not making sure. It's entrapment. It's 100% entrapment. Yes, it is. You can't say make sure. No, they're entrapping the girl.
Sure. Yeah, well, that's what they said.
They're trying to. Okay, I don't care what they said. They're entrapping this girl. And they bring her to the doctor, the clinic where he's working at. And so the doctor sees her, and automatically the light bulb goes off in his head. So he actually lets her get out early, and so of course she can get a ride. And she gets brought back to the place to have her face taken off. The cops are pretty inept here. They come and they said, well, it'll be okay. We'll just check out, see if she's all right. They go to the doctor's house, and the doctor says, no, there's no one here, and they leave and pretty much leave her there screwed, thinking, okay, we'll find it. It'll be okay. Everyone will work. It'll work out all right. At this point, the daughter This one here, she can't take it anymore. She just wants to be dead. She wants everyone to be free. She just doesn't want to go through this over and over again. So she goes there first, and she cuts off the bonds, lets the other girl out. She stabs the housekeeper in the throat. The housekeeper, by the way, also was a successful transplant, face transplant, and she stabs her in the throat right where the scar is. That was the only remnants of showing where her old face was at. Now then she goes in and she frees all the dogs because you knew this was going to happen. And there's a big thing of doves in the room, and John Woo would love this. And she frees the doves, and one of the doves kind of like just perches on her shoulder, and then it's a really nice kind of like touching scene. Now the dogs attack the doctor, and his the doctor pretty much he dies, but before he does, his face is mauled beyond comprehension. The movie ends with the girl still with her mask on. We've seen the mask off, but only kind of blurry. She's walking into the woods with a dove, and doves going all around her. It's a beautiful, haunting ending to the film. It leaves it very open, and I like the fact that it does that. The film does have some features on it. The Criterion does. It has Blood of the Beast, which is a 1949. It's kind of a short documentary on the slaughterhouses of Paris. Not big on slaughterhouses, so I haven't watched that one yet. Oh, getting tired. And there's excerpts from a documentary featuring Eyes to the Face writers, the people that wrote it, and of course, just to know how much of a kind of a how these all go together here. The Thomas Nerjuk, I guess, wrote this, and Pierre Belot. And if you want to know other things done by that person, well, Diabolique and Vertigo. So, yeah, Diabolique was also written by this person that wrote this film here, and you can kind of tell in the way that the movie's structured. And luckily, both had very visual directors that can tell a tale so well, and just leave it open in the end to like your interpretation. And the way that the cinematography is in this film is just beautiful. It is an incredible film. It's shot so stark and realistic, but yet it's almost fairy tale like in certain ways, and it's very haunting. I can't recommend this one enough. It definitely belongs, if you're a horror fan, this movie here belongs in your collection. I actually find this cover kind of creepy, and the menu for this movie as well. But if you've seen Diabolique, if you've seen Vertigo, you owe it to yourself to see Oz Without a Face. A great French film that actually inspired a Billy Idol song and a lot of other movies. Check it out, 1959. Fantastic Criterion. It needs to be in your collection. It's number 260, guys, so pick it up. And with all the yawning there, I know right now that it's seriously time for tea.